Joining us remotely as we remember Charlie Kirk's legacy is Lucas Miles, who has stood shoulder to shoulder with him as a friend and fellow laborer for the gospel. Lucas, welcome to Ministry Now and Daystar. Thank you for being with us today.
Hey, thank you for having me very much. It's good to be here.
Okay, so give us the feeling, if you will, of what's going on at Turning Point. And I mean, I said it earlier, I believe an army has been mobilized in a way that we could have never imagined.
Yeah, this is unimaginable. It's one of the hardest weeks of my life for sure. But I will tell you, there is more resolve and more commitment to fulfill Charlie's mission than ever. I've had the opportunity to serve him for about the last year and a half as a senior director at TPUSA Faith. And I think that what we found out this week is we're just getting started. We have received so many messages of support, of commitment, of people that were ideologically opposed to Charlie throughout really his entire life and work, who've said, I was wrong about him. I want to join the fight. How can I help? And this is the sentiment we're receiving over and over again. And so, there's still a lot of unknowns on where we go from here, but I can tell you what, we're moving forward.
Well, I know God's going to do so many good things. I read something, you can validate this, that there was like 18,000 requests for new chapters.
I think that number went up significantly even. I think it's in the 30,000s now.
Okay.
If I saw correctly.
That is an army that God can use. We need 20 and 30-year-olds. How does someone start a chapter? What do they need to do? Because we are all over the world. You're in 195 nations right now. Tell these young people, tell the grandmothers to write this stuff down. How do they start a chapter?
Yeah, I think for, if people want to find out more about some of our college programs and things like that, they can go to tpusa.com and fill out some of the forms there. For my specific work is really focused more on the pastor side. And so what we're looking for pastors to stand up and say, I want to come alongside the work of TPUSA Faith. They can go to tpusafaith.com to fill out more information. We also have faith groups, which are, kind of gatherings of people from different churches in their community. And I think what we saw really yesterday, this past Sunday, was the canary in the cage for the American church. If churches did not wake up through COVID and wake up through the totalitarianism that we saw there, they should be waking up right now. And there was a decision that pastors had if they were going to address the greatest Christian martyr of our generation and mention him. And we are seeing a shift happen right now where people are realizing that they were part of churches that are not really willing to get in line with this move of God. And I think that is truly a turning point, and this is the revival that I think Charlie was wanting for so long.
So pastors can help you, young people can help you spread the gospel and start these opportunities for people to really just invite people to church, start the revival, believe what Charlie said. I'm really believing that steel went into hundreds of thousands of 20 and 30-year-olds who are now going to be just lit for Jesus. I'm excited.
Well, Lucas, take us back to that day when you heard the news. How are you doing? How is the staff doing? And how do we need to pray? There are millions of people watching right now that are praying for all of you.
I appreciate that. My wife and I were actually out of the country when we got the news. My assistant called me, and I knew as soon as I saw his name on my phone that, he wouldn't be calling me unless something was wrong. And as soon as I picked up the phone, he said the words, Charlie's been shot. And that it's bad. We don't know anything yet. We immediately started making plans to get back to the States and took the first flight out. I'm now in Phoenix with the other staff at headquarters here and just really trying to take some time this week to minister to our team. Our leadership has been so incredible. The way in which they have just really wrapped their arms around everybody. We appreciate so much all the prayers for the family and for our work, the amount of people showing up to bring flowers outside of our facility or to make a donation online to tpusa.com. It's been overwhelming. And so, but this is just the beginning. As Erica said the other night on her broadcast, that the work of Charlie's mission and vision, it's going to continue. And all of us here are committed to seeing that happening.
I heard someone say, we know his destination and we know Charlie's destination. We know as believers, we will see him again. And we know that he heard the words, well done, good and faithful servant. We may not understand the timing of it, but we do know that when a seed goes in the ground like a Charlie Kirk, there's going to be a lot of fruit that comes from his homegoing. And although we miss him, we have to understand that he is in the most amazing place in the presence of God. And we rejoice in that fact, don't we?
Absolutely. Look, martyrdom is not silence. It's not the end. It's not failure. He finished his course with joy. He went out doing what he loved to do. His life was stolen by an evil, demonic agenda. But we are not going to let the enemy win. We're going to keep going. He has received his crown from the Lord for his martyrdom of giving his life. And I think it's our job to honor him and remember him as we keep moving forward.
Amen.
So,
I see just kind of like Marcus, I see Charlie just going to heaven and saying, okay, now, Jesus, let's get serious. Okay? Let's really get this going.
You see in Revelation, 6, where it talks about the martyrs who are before the throne of God saying, how much longer, Lord? Like, let's go. Let's do this. And I can easily see Charlie Kirk being one of those guys.
Oh, yes. You know he's in that great cloud of witnesses bothering the Lord. Now, you got to help them down there for sure. But thank you for being here with us today, Lucas. And we'll continue to pray for you and all of you at Turning Point USA. Your best days are ahead.
Absolutely.
And we just rejoice with what all God is doing. And I know the funeral's coming up. Tell everybody when that's going to be.
Yeah, so they can go to Fight for Charlie. It's FORCharlie.com to find out more about that. But we're having the memorial service this coming Sunday. It's going to be at the Cardinal Stadium. It's going to be the greatest celebration of life I think this this generation has ever seen. As those that wanted to silence Charlie thought that by firing a bullet at him, they could get him to shut up. What Hebrews 11 tells us is that the voice of the martyr still speaks from the grave, and Charlie's message and mission, and ultimately really the gospel, because that's what it was, is going to ring out louder than ever.
Amen. Well, Lucas, we're just praying right now that God will help your staff, strengthen them as they go through this time, that the seeds will flourish across the entire world. We see people in London and other places taking on this battle. God be with you guys. We're with you. If you need anything from Daystar, you give us a call, Lucas. We're with you, and we want to see what God has for you and the team, and come back and let us know maybe a few months from now what God has done. We love you. We're praying for you, Lucas, and thank you so much for being here today.
Before you leave, be sure to hit that like and subscribe button. Also, we would love to hear how the Lord is moving and touching your heart right now. So be sure to comment below and then share this video with someone you feel needs it just as much as you did.